Hello everyone, gather around. Today, we're taking a trip to the wild side of Scandinavia. We're going deeper, into a world of mischievous mountain spirits, giants, and water nymphs. So, are you ready for an adventure? The Scandinavian folklore includes mythical stories from Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland. It is rich with a variety of mythical creatures, monsters, and spirits that inhabit the forests, mountains, and waters. These creatures often reflect the beliefs, fears, and superstitions of the people who have lived in Scandinavia for centuries. They were often meant to scare children, but they are essential and important to modern northern society even today. Here are some notable mythological creatures from Scandinavian folklore. Trolls were perhaps the most well-known Norse mythical creatures in Scandinavian folklore. They were the main enemies of the gods, known as Jötnar or Jotuna, who lived in the mountains of Utgard. They are typically depicted as huge, ugly, and brutish human-like beings, with immense strength, and an aversion to sunlight. Even some believe that if they ever came in contact with sunlight, they turned to stone. Trolls are said to dwell in remote wilderness areas, such as forests, mountains, and caves, where they may pose a threat to humans who stray too close to their territory. Norse elves, also called Alfar, are supernatural beings in Scandinavian folklore that are often associated with nature, magic, and fertility. Unlike the diminutive elves of English folklore, Scandinavian elves are usually depicted as human-sized and beautiful peaceful creatures, with the ability to shapeshift and manipulate the natural world. They are said to live in hidden communities, deep within the forests or under the earth. The Huldra is a mysterious and seductive forest spirit in Scandinavian folklore, often depicted as a beautiful woman with a cow's tail, living in the woods. She is a flirtatious young girl who is neither good nor evil. She is known to lure unsuspecting men into the forest, with her enchanting song and beauty, only to reveal her true form, and disappear into the wilderness. Huldras are said to guard the forests and protect the animals that dwell within them. The Norse dwarves lived in their own part of Midgard, a place no human could find. They were skilled craftsmen and metalworkers in Norse mythology, who resided deep underground, and are known for their forges and treasures. They were small people, often pictured as little men with long beards, who were master smiths, and made the swords, shields, and armor for the gods themselves. They can be helpful or greedy depending on the circumstances. The Nøkken, or Nykkjenis, is a malevolent water spirit in Scandinavian folklore that inhabits lakes, rivers, and streams. It often takes the form of a horse, or a handsome young man, and lures unwary travelers to their deaths by drowning. He is also said to be a talented musician, playing the violin, so that the villagers can hear him at night. Nøkkens are said to possess powerful magical abilities, and can control the currents and tides of the waterways they inhabit. Draugr are undead water creatures in Norse mythology that are said to rise from their graves to terrorize the living. They are often depicted as huge and monster-like beings, covered in seaweed, rowing in half a boat. He erupts a terrible scream when he appears, and legend says he can be seen during stormy nights at sea, drowning sailors and fishermen, and sinking their boats and ships. Kraken is probably a creature that belongs in the cold Norwegian Sea, where it was first said to be seen in the early 1700s. In old times, the Kraken was said to be in the shape of a huge crab, the size of an island, and many sailors and fishermen found themselves stranded on an island that had not been there minutes before. Later descriptions tell of a monster, in the shape of an enormous octopus, which dragged ships down to the bottom of the sea. The Nisse is one of the most familiar creatures of Scandinavian folklore, and he has appeared in many works of Scandinavian literature. In the old days, Nisse were protectors of a household or farmstead and helped farmers with small chores. They were temperamental though, and could cause trouble, if angered. To show respect and keep them in good spirits, the Nisse were presented with a bowl of porridge with butter, on Christmas Eve. These creatures are typical pranksters, and make themselves known especially around Christmas time. They have the same function as Santa in Western traditions. Fenrir is a monstrous wolf in Norse mythology, the offspring of the god Loki and the giantess Angrboda. According to Old Norse texts, Fenrir plays a key role during the events of Ragnarök, which is the final battle between the gods and their enemies. There he is foretold to assist in setting the world aflame, resulting in the collapse of humanity and society, and kill the god Odin. Fenrir figures prominently in Norwegian and Icelandic poetry of the 10th and 11th centuries, and the poets speak apprehensively of the day when he will break loose. Jötnar are a race of giants in Norse mythology, who inhabit the frozen wilderness of Jotunheim. They are often depicted as powerful and malevolent beings, who live in the mountains and wilderness areas of Scandinavia. They are sometimes portrayed as adversaries of the gods, and are associated with chaos, destruction, and the forces of nature. Valkyries are female warrior spirits, on horseback, a wolf or boar, and armed with a spear, who serve the god Odin by selecting slain warriors from the battlefield, and escorting them to Valhalla, the great hall of the slain. They are depicted as fierce and noble warriors, riding through the sky on winged horses, and wielding spears and shields. Old Norse literature made references to purely supernatural Valkyries, and also to human Valkyries, with certain supernatural powers. Both types of beings were associated with fairness, brightness, and gold, as well as bloodshed. Also known as the Midgard serpent, Jörmungandr is a giant sea serpent of Norse mythology that encircles the world, biting its own tail. According to legend, Jörmungandr is one of the children of the trickster god Loki and the giantess Angrboda. It is prophesied that during Ragnarök, that marks the end of the world, Jörmungandr will emerge from the depths of the ocean to battle the thunder god Thor. Hel is the goddess of the dead, and the ruler of the realm of the same name, Helheim. She is depicted as half living and half dead, with one side of her body appearing as a beautiful woman, and the other as a rotting corpse. Hel is responsible for receiving the souls of the deceased, who do not die in battle, and presides over the afterlife in Helheim. These are some of the many mythical creatures found in Scandinavian folklore, that spark wonders and remind us of the magic that once filled the wilderness. They are an integral part of the region's cultural heritage. So, as we conclude our glimpse into the world of Scandinavian folklore, we are reminded of the enduring power of myth and legend, to captivate our imaginations, and connect us to the mysteries of the natural world. Thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the story of the most popular mythological creatures from Scandinavian folklore. So stay tuned to our channel for more interesting stories like this. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and click the video's subscribe button. Visit our channel, www.youtube.com/@weaversnest. For more information, visit the website, www.weaversnest.org.